So this is the Shendu year of Wimbiz. So it is with every profoundness on this day 2 of our Wimbiz 22nd Annual Conference that I am delighted to welcome to the stage Dr. Omolola Salako, the CEO, Pearl Oncology Specialist Hospital, for Plenary 4. Yes, keep the applause going. I love this session. The topic for this session is personal equilibrium, self-care in a Vuca world. Don't ask me what Vuca means. They're about to tell us. Over to you, Doctor.
Good morning. Good morning, Wimbiz delegates, physically present and online. My name is Dr. Omolola Salako. I'm a multi-talented oncologist. I help people, especially women, prevent cancer, treat cancer, and survive cancer. I'm delighted. Thank you. I'm delighted to moderate this session because the title is so unique. This year, 2023, has been a Vuca year. And the title for this panel session is Personal Equilibrium, Self-Care in a Vuca World. And to do justice to this plenary session, I have 4 amazing women, and I'll call them on stage. Coach Didi, please clap. Dr. Yemi Elisha Daudu, Josephine Eiman, Dr. Oyinkansola Jinodu. Please clap for them. Please clap for them, because what we are going to share here today will change your life. So very quickly, I'll start with, thank you, ladies. Thank you. You are all looking radiant and beautiful. Okay, so when we talk about Vuca, what does it mean? It simply means V, volatility, U, uncertainty, C, complexity, and A, ambiguity. And the women seated here with me are champions. They are global players. They are women who have taken so much risk, whether there is Vuca or not. And today they will share from their insights, from their experiences, how they are coping despite the stress that they can't control. Coach Didi, please say hello again, is a highly accomplished practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. And Dr. Olayemi Daudu is an accomplished anatomic molecular pathologist. She is the CEO at Cleaner Lancet. Josephine Eiman is the founding CEO of Net Pharmacy, a leading retail pharmacy in the community. And Dr. Oyinkansola Jinodu, known as the MedSpa professor, is a multifaceted businesswoman and philanthropist. When we talk about Vuca, the year 2023 is Vuca. If we remember when we started the year with our elections, it brought about a lot of changes, and one of which was the redesign of the Naira. Each and every one of us here remembers how that affected us. There was scarcity of the Naira. People could not find money. It was a volatile period. And that itself brought a lot of uncertainties to our lives. As we speak, we're in a complex situation because in January, dollar to Naira was about 600 Naira. Now it has doubled. Ambiguity, because a lot of people are not satisfied, they don't know what they want, or they feel that, they have more opportunities abroad. People are living en masse. And that has broken a lot of chains within organizations and families. And so I'll turn to my panelists here with me today, and I'll start with you, Coach Didi. When we talk about personal equilibrium, what comes to mind? In a few words, can you please tell our distinguished audience what it meant?
I must say, first of all, I'm thoroughly thrilled to be here. I came across Wimbies, please for a minute. I came across Wimbies, I think about 10 years ago, and I saw better women. I see better women, and I said, oh my God. And I find it hard to believe that I am among the better women, actually. So I would say, for me, you see, it's all about mindset. When we talk about self-care, you asked about self-care, right? On personal equilibrium.
Yes.
Right? We've been raised to believe that taking care of ourselves is selfish. I have been raised in a culture of silence and a culture of giving, that I'm supposed to serve my family, serve my husband, serve my children, serve my in-laws, serve everyone except myself. So when women even think about self-care, it seems even selfish, which is something we need to unlearn. It's something we learned, yes, but we need to unlearn it. Okay. And it takes you being intentional.
So being intentional.
Yeah.
Dr. Yemi.
Okay. Yep. Good morning, everyone. It's an honor to be here. My take on it goes by 3 words. So authenticity, contentment, and focus on self-actualization. That's what self-care
Fabulous.
means.
That's fabulous. So being authentic. Excellent. Pharmacist Joe? There's a mic beside you. Yeah. Okay, so let's check. Okay. Excellent.
Good morning, beautiful ladies. And I want to thank the organizers of this conference for the privilege to be on this platform. Self-care to me means intentional personal harmony. It varies from person to person, like she has said. It's a state of balance in your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual well-being when you find that balance, and it's about you. It's not selfish, like she has said. It's just finding balance personally, your personal balance. Thank you.
And so I'll throw a question to the audience. What is unique to you? What is your authentic story? What are you most comfortable with, and what are you optimizing about your uniqueness? That's self-care. Pharmacist Joe talked about harmony. What are you harmonizing? What are you bringing together to optimize the different dimensions in your life? Spiritual, physical, financial, career, retirement, childhood. You know, we have so many dimensions. And I would like you to, create a map of 10 to 20 things you are going to do based on what you learned from all speakers here. That is personal to you. And as we end this session, you have your personal map for self-care. Oyinka.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Wimbies. First of all, I want to say thank you to Hanseto Adegbite. She's why I'm here. And thank you to the organizers, the founders of this great organization. This was a 4-year conversation, and she called me and she said, hey, sis, it's your year. I said, yes, let's go. So really grateful to be here. Self-care for me is just being able to show up with your best and highest self at every moment. That means you're very intentional about who you are. You're very mindful, aware of yourself, and you put that forward. So for me, I just summarize it as showing up with my game face always. That's it.
Say that again.
Showing up with my game face always. So whatever's happening, I'm gonna be looking good. Forget y'all. That's it.
Excellent. There's a popular quote by Chanel Coco, and it goes, the best things in life are free. The second best are expensive. So my question to you, the lovely audience here at Wimbiz, is what are the best things in your life that are free? your sleep, time with the children, your happiness? What are you tying the best things in your life to that is not optimizing you? And it's a genuine question because Onyekon said something about showing up. What are you showing up with? Who are you showing up as? And it's a question around self-identity. Personally, I like to sleep for 9 hours. 9 hours to reboot. And sometimes I'll do 12 hours when I can. And I call it marathon sleeping. So what is unique to you? I know it's controversial, but that's because many days I think at ×3 capacity. And so to reset my neurological system, I need to crash it back to the baseline. That is unique to me. So my question to you is, what is personal to you? How can you improve your self-care routine? Coach Didi.
Well, like you said earlier, for me, the Vuca world is not just it, because as a woman, we go add husband matter. You know that one be stress. We go add children matter. And for those who have older children, we will add in-laws matter. We will add bad belly people matter. So it is stressful. Nigeria itself is stressful. So I always preach that self-care is mind care. So I have to find ways to take care of myself. And because I have unlearned that I'm being selfish by doing that, I am utterly selfish about it. Every month, I take out a day. It's actually scheduled in my phone, self-care day. That's when I receive salary anyway. And I just pick my phone and I Google restaurants in Abuja. See, I'm not talking of Jualegba, Abi Yamala. No. I choose a restaurant that is high-end, that after paying the money, it will do me for body. But I will go there, I will walk in, and this ambience will hit me. This smell. And then they will draw the chair for me. I like that part. And I'll sit down. And then I'll look at the menu. Now, I will not eat what I eat in my house every day. God forbid, bad thing. I will order maybe mashed potatoes, lamb chops, steak, grilled prawns. And you know the best part? In silence, no husband, no children. Now, I don't want you to judge me. I may be on air. It's not that I don't love my family. Wallahi, I do. But there are days that I don't want them around me. And that's that day. I order food and I eat it. And I practice mindful eating. As I chew every bite. Oh my God. And then when I finish, you know this kind of food, you have to take the rest home. And then I get home. Did they want to now? They want to carry my bag. I said, no. Then I take my bag to room. Please don't judge me. Then later in the night, I will even microwave it. I will eat it in the room. For me, that's self-care.
Oh, give it up for Coach Didi. Give it up for Coach Didi. Fantastic. And she has just highlighted. Okay. Excellent. Coach Didi has just highlighted how to take ourselves on a self-date. So self-care is about romancing yourself, eating the best food you want to eat, creating time for yourself in a place that you love, with the person that you love the most, yourself. So here's a challenge inspired by Coach Didi. How many times will you take yourself out on a self-date? So, over to you, Dr. Yemi.
Thank you very much for the question. For me, self-care, like I spoke about earlier, is about self-awareness, acknowledging your authenticity. For me, I'm 1000% Olayemi Daudu. I'm a masterpiece. I'm not trying to be anybody else or emulate anybody else. And my journey is very unique to me. And for me, self-care is, fully acknowledging who you are, putting modalities in place or actions in place to curate or moderate triggers or any of the things that can affect all the different buckets that you have, whether it's emotionally, psychologically. And what do I mean by that? So I have things I would do when I'm angry, to try to manage the people up and down. So instead of, and this comes to knowing yourself. So maybe in the past I would have an outburst, but making a voice note and acting like the person who you're angry at is there has kind of worked for me. And then journaling. I like to write, journaling what I would like to say or do. And for those kind of things, they help to kind of level me out before I have to engage. My PA is very, very good in terms of the team when things fall sideways and ensuring that I don't engage at that time. So that, we manage the piece and I actually regroup before I attend to that. But basically, just knowing yourself and putting things in place to moderate how you react to all the things that the uncertainties of Vuca bring in: frustration, anger, sadness. Like she said, going off, well, not necessarily to eat, but going off to have a staycation on your own, just to think through things quietly and regroup back so that you can be the best that you should be in all the buckets that you feel as a mother, as a wife, as an executive, as a teacher in my case.
Excellent.
So that's kind of how I navigate.
So I'm going to dwell on triggers. We all know that something triggers us at home, on the road, in the office, and we ourselves, we trigger other women. For example, yesterday there was an incident. I saw an empty chair, I sat on it. Within 30 seconds, the lady beside me said, someone is sitting there. And I was like, but there was nothing on it. And then an argument ensued. Within 30 seconds, I realized, you know what, even if I sit here and do my stubbornness, that this seat was empty, the energy around me is negative. So I stood up and went to the back, knowing that I'll have this moment to talk about it. So, and it's a decision. Must we get angry? Must we fight? Can we take the chair home? And I'm speaking the truth because sometimes I'm like that. Can we identify? Okay, so Yemi, my question to you is, how do we deal with when someone triggers us? And it's as simple as someone should do something and they've forgotten or they don't want to do it and they come to you with a lie. And you know they are lying. I hear you say one of your strategies, you've equipped your PA, your executive assistant, to identify that trigger point. But how do you handle it?
I'd say that's, slightly a bit. I didn't really get the question when they come to me and they lie, or the triggers. Like I said, triggering goes around, I know myself and I know myself fully. And so I'm very aware of the things that, can get me. Part of my strategy, apart from all the other things I said before, is to probably extricate myself. Just like you said, you moved away from that scenario. Or very intentionally not even expose myself to it. And I think you're speaking about work, but generally. I'm very, very intentional and selfish about my peace now. Maybe back in the days, you'd say I was very confrontational and I would say my mind. I am very expressive and assertive. But I realize it's not all the time you have to embark on that. Sometimes it's just keeping yourself away from those things that can trigger you. And I'm very, what's the word? What do we say about women? We have intuition. My friends laugh a lot. I talk about spirit. My spirit doesn't go. And I know when my spirit doesn't go with something, I don't make myself available to those things. Yes. So.
Shendu. For women, we're blessed with intuition. We're blessed with instinctiveness. And we must, grow that discerning spirit, listen to it, Most times we're right. A few times we're hormonal. But most times we are right. Most times we are right. Pharmacist Joe, your take on personal equilibrium. How can we improve self-care in this VUCA world? And I must say that I admire your pharmacy a lot. For anyone who has purchased stuff at Net Pharmacy, this is the trailblazer behind it. And when we speak about VUCA, I'm sure you've experienced it a lot with demand, supply, rising cost of imported goods. How are you, managing your self-care routine?
Okay, like I said before, self-care, you have to be intentional about it. And you put yourself first, like she said. It's not selfish. You have to think of yourself. When you are flying, what did they tell us in the plane? Put on your oxygen mask first before you help another person. Can we tell ourselves? Put on your oxygen mask first before helping another person put on their mask. So that's the bottom line for me when it comes to self-care. You have to prioritize yourself, your mental health, your physical health, and your spiritual health, because we are all a total package. Eating right, as a pharmacist, I can't neglect that. In a VUCA world, everything is fast-paced. We are busy. We have deadlines. We have work. We have family. I'm sure if I see how many of us eat 3 times a day here, I may not get up to half of the hall. We have to eat right to be able to protect that body, And a lot of us also, because we don't eat right, our body doesn't even get the nourishment it deserves. Calcium. A lot of us don't take milk. And a lot of women are low in calcium, which also affects your bones. But do we take calcium supplement? I'm talking as a pharmacist now. Vitamin D3 helps calcium absorption, and it also helps mood. Helps you to manage your mood, basically. Those are supplements you can take that helps your health too. Annual health check. Have we done our annual health check this year? Good, fantastic. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. I didn't expect anything less of WIMBIS. So annual health check, prioritizing yourself. That is the way to survive in this VUCA world, because everything is fact-based. So being intentional about yourself is not selfish. Put yourself first. Then you are able to take care of everybody around you. Thank you.
Fantastic point. And taking supplements, as she said, is something a lot of women don't do. As part of your self-care routine, you should nurture your physical health through what you eat naturally. But it's important to supplement and take certain vitamins, calcium, vitamin D. And this is important because as women, we go through menstrual periods monthly. And all of that, for 20, 30 years of menstruation, takes a toll on the woman's body. So, from age 20, there's something extra you should be taking. There's an annual medical checkup you should do every year. Check your heart, check your lungs, check your kidneys. I'm glad that many people here identified with having done their annual medical checkup. But as an oncologist, I treat a lot of women with stage 3 and stage 4 cancer. And they had seen the lump, felt the lump, when it was very tiny. And they wait for 6 months, 12 months before they get to my table. And so when I'm treating them, the first thing I do within 2 weeks is to take care of complications, low blood, infection, pain, nutrition. By the 3rd week, they are optimal, then I can start the real treatment. So this is a call to action about your annual medical checkup. There are many diagnostic labs here. Okay, so I'm not marketing, but there are many diagnostic labs here. Every woman from age 20, you should do certain tests.
Yeah.
It's part of, you will spend 2 to 3 hours once a year. And we're looking for things like hypertension, complication of hypertension, blindness that can be prevented, kidney function. We can pick things up and prevent them. 40% of cancers are preventable. But I can tell you that this year, we are treating 30,000 of those preventable cancers. How many of us have done our pap smears? Wow, looks like 30 to 50% of the room. How many of us have gotten vaccinated against the human papilloma virus, the hepatitis B virus? Fantastic. For those of us that haven't, please, before November is over, walk in, take yourself on a self-date into the clinic, just as you will take yourself to the restaurant. Onyeka.
Yeah, for me, self care is just knowing my happy place. I have a happy place, and that's my home. And no matter what's going on in the world, once I get there, it's just peaceful. And I'm very crafty. So I make beads. I'll just sit on my bed and I'll just start weaving beads. Of course, I'm an artisan, so I do makeup and stuff. But those are the things that really just brings me back to Zen, you know? And one thing I always tell my clients is, when you look good, you feel good. Wahala no dey finish. Wahala no go ever finish. But guess what? When you wake up in the morning, clean yourself up, groom yourself. Even if you can't beat your face like my own, do something, try. Just put a little bit of effort into yourself. Invest in yourself. Just the fact that you look in the mirror and that reflection back at you will make you smile. I promise you, it will take you from stress level maybe at a 10, bring it all the way down to about a 5. And then what else is extra that you could do? Meditate. Meditation for me is just being able to sort through everything in my head. See this brain? We have hundreds of thousands of thoughts a day. About 95% of those thoughts, they're negative, because that's how we're programmed as humans. So you have to be intentional about restructuring those thoughts and redirecting them to the positive side. So doing that in my happy place, knowing that everything else might be falling out of my hands, but when I meditate, it falls into God's hands. Because when life is falling out, it's falling somewhere. So I've taught myself to believe that if it's falling out of my hands, it's falling into God's hands. So I stay in my happy place, I make myself pretty and nice, and I keep it moving. I never stop.
That was Shendu. Shendu. Onyeka, I'm trying to paraphrase. What did you say now? You said, when I meditate, I let it fall out of my hands into God's hands. Wow. Shendu. Fantastic. So we're global players. We respect time. We respect our audience. So we're not going to go over time. And I'll ask this very important question. Recently on Viola Davis's Instagram, she put up a post that said, she's a self-care advocate, and this post said, the most powerful person is someone who decides that their self-worth is not a group decision. Like, how many, I think a lot of us here, I know a lot of women here are trailblazers, but there's still something that belongs to us that we have given a group to determine. What is that thing? And this is on your map, in your journal. What is that thing? And how can you reclaim it? And that thing is for you, and because it's in another person's domain, someone has taken it or you have given them permission, you lack peace because of it. Everybody's response is different. What is that thing? Or what are those things? And how can you reclaim it? Please put that on your personal self-care map. So, Onyinko, I'll start with you, and please, we have 2 minutes to respond to this. I would like you to share 2 or 3 tips on prioritizing self-care better, regardless of VUCA.
All right. Regardless of VUCA, I know, the economy, contrary to popular belief, right, that you're Nigeria and things are tough and it's only Nigeria that is facing inflation. It's all over the world. Every nation is experiencing it. So one thing I always encourage people to do is find some things that are less expensive. If you're not spending so much, if there's no financial stress, which is maybe 98% of a lot of stress or VUCA situation, you will find out that will be a little bit more amiable and peaceable. So number 1, find your non-negotiables and your negotiables. Make a list. A lot of times, the things that we're so really gung-ho about, we don't need it. And we put unnecessary stress on ourselves to get it. For me, my non-negotiables are things that I can easily do for myself. I can do my makeup so I don't pay a makeup artist. I can fix my hair so I don't pay a hairstylist. That's a lot of money staying in my pocket. But the negotiables, I cannot do my nails, so forget you. My work does not even permit me, so nails, they don't get done, but I keep them clean. Women, let's break it down. Reduce the stress on yourself, on your pocketbook, your husband's pocketbook, and you see things will be a little bit more peaceful. Number 2, what are simple things that you can do for your health? You don't need to pay for an expensive gym membership. Drink lots of water. It's free. Drink a lot of it. Recommended is 1 gallon a day. Drink it. Don't worry about this slim fast, slim quick, flat tummy 2 days, 3 days, all those things, costing you money and risking your health. Do the natural things. Last but not the least, Lola says she sleeps for 12 hours. VUCA is telling us, if you sleep for 5 hours, you are a lazy person. Why are you sleeping? Why are you sleeping? My sister, sleep. It is free. I beg, sleep. Get your sleep. The time that you are up running, do you realize you're not getting anything done? Nothing is getting done. So please get your sleep. Your skin will thank you. Youthfulness will thank you. See our mommies looking amazing at their age.
Give it up for the mummies.
Woo! Those are the secrets. So if you are looking for fountain of youth, sleep and water, God has given it. Let's go.
Okay, so for me, I would say listen to your body. Your body has been so intricately designed that it will give you a sign when something is wrong. Do we agree? So sometimes, as a community pharmacist, people will come to me and say, I've been feeling this sharp pain for 6 months. How do you feel sharp? How do you live with sharp pain for 6 months?
Come on.
So when your body is giving you a sign, you have that nagging feeling behind your ear, go get it checked out. You know how you set an alarm and it rings in the morning and you snooze? When your body gives you an alarm, don't snooze. She spoke about how people come to her with stage. I'm not trying to be morbid here, but that's the truth. How people come to her and they're already at stage 3 or stage 4. I dare say at least let me be modest, about 50% of illnesses, if caught early, have a high chance of survival. Do we agree?
Yes.
So don't snooze. So that's the first one. And then the second one, I would say, practice digital detox.
Tell us about it.
Don't kill me, but it's true. We are all hooked on our gadgets 24/7. We call a guest night out or a guest date or family date night. We come there, we get to the dinner or in a restaurant. We are hooked again. Is that true or not? True. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and all of them. And they are impacting how we behave and how we rate success or failure. Practice digital detox. Technology is a two-edged sword. It has its good side and its bad side. A lot of good sides have made the world a better place, but it has put a lot of pressure on us. It now, because of what we see on social media, we feel everybody, like she said, has to be a size 0 or size 1. We are talking about personal equilibrium. So what is personal equilibrium to me is different from her. So don't allow somebody on the other side of your phone dictate what happiness is to you. Thank you.
Dr. Yami.
Thank you very much. To start off, buttressing what Dr. Molola was speaking about, we work closely as specialists. I'm an anatomic pathologist, and so I'm the Supreme Court on deciding whether someone has cancer or not.
True.
So there are certain things, certainly, when we take charge and look out for it early, then you can have a solution for it early. And for me, I'll come from the perspective of linking free. So when you think about an annual health check, I mean, you know you're going to part with some money to carry out the tests and to see a physician. But I dare say that your annual health check starts with you. And what you need, God has already provided for you, your eyes, to observe. And I'll explain this further. I would recommend, which I do, that every year on your birthday, you celebrate in your birthday suit. And what do I mean by your birthday suit? You were born with no clothes on. So what you need is a mirror for you to examine yourself. Power of observation. And it might seem like something very mundane, but when you know yourself, and when I say yourself, I mean physically your body, you are able to catch what is abnormal early. Yeah. Is it a lump or a bump somewhere? Is it a skin change? You must practice celebrating in your birthday suit by examining yourself, even if it's once a year before you go into any facility. But please take time to love yourself, look yourself over, and I dare say under, with a small mirror, to be very familiar with yourself and to catch any change. That's something that I will start off with in case of looking at being free. Secondly, thank you very much to the other panelists. They were speaking about, healthy habits, drinking water, moving. I know there's some health enthusiast that says you are not a tree, move. Yes, you must move. And it really has nothing to do with you even already having a balanced diet. It's simple things like walking. It's simple things like in the office, maybe having your running shoes or whatever it is that you're doing and getting off a few meters or some distance away from home and walking home. They are simple things that don't cost you a gym subscription. Using the staircase in your office to have short bursts of exercise to move up and down is kind of free. And those are things that we should kind of try to just time ourselves and manage to get into our day. I think by and large, those are the two things I'd really like to speak about and how.
Excellent. Thank you. Coach Didi?
I would start with mindset. Your mindset is how you see the world and your role in it. And it plays a crucial role in your mental health. Then your self-esteem, your feeling of self-worth. In my experience with many women who suffer from mental health illnesses like anxiety and depression, life happens, but how you deal with life depends on how you already feel about yourself. So I would say practice self-compassion and kindness to yourself, and then what you tell yourself matters. Almost every day for some years now it's engraved in my subconscious mind, so I don't need to do it as much as before. But most times when I wake up in the morning, before I go into the bathroom, I stop in the mirror and I pause and I smile. Now, if you don't understand Hausa, it means, babe, you are it. I tell that to myself over and over again. Then I smile again and I said, you are beautiful, you are worthy, you are enough, you are more than enough. Sometimes my husband goes like, Anya, are you well? But But it's not about him. It's about me and how I choose to feel about myself.
Coach Didi, what does that mean?
What? I can laugh at that. Is this one well? You know? But to be honest, I'm not well, though. Forget I wear clothes. Because we need to make mental health issues okay. That's why when I talk about mental health, we keep saying it's okay not to be okay. See, forget I wear clothes, I'll bath. See, there are some times. Anyway, let me leave that matter. As I said. So I speak kindly to myself and I keep affirming to myself that I am amazing and I'm going to have an amazing day today. You know why I do that? Because life happens. You get one person where they come with all their negativity. And then because I've affirmed to myself that I'm going to have a good day, a stress-less day. So when you come with your negativity, most times I repel it because I have already decided today is going to be good. Now, sometimes I throw that away and we do the fighting, actually, because, of course, who is perfect, right? But the truth is, you need to be able to talk to yourself. Be kind to yourself. All that validation you need, validate yourself. When I used to make my hair and my husband doesn't notice, I will be brooding and miserable all day. Now, if he sees it, fine. If he doesn't, I see it.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I have taken some points from all that you have all said. Okay, so we have a few minutes, and I'm going to run through some tips shared by our 4 panelists. Find your happy place. Where is your happy place? Onyekon said it's in her room. Is your room your happy place? When you walk in, is it happy enough? What type of pillow do you lay your head on? What type of bed sheet? What's the duvet like? What's the temperature? We know there's PHCN can be erratic. How about our inverters, our solar inverters, rechargeable fans? How do we get our good night's sleep? Harmony. One of our panelists touched harmony. There are certain dimensions in our lives that we have to bring together this year to save money, to find peace. What are those dimensions? Supplements. We are women of different ages. Some have light periods, some have heavy periods, some menstruate once a month, and some are in menopause. What supplements should you take? Book an appointment with your doctor, your GP, to know what type of healthcare, medical checkup, things you should do. What's your family history? Some families have hypertension, diabetes running, cancer running. What's your family history? Go have a conversation with your family, then sit with a doctor to help you create a personalized care plan that will reduce your risk developing those diseases. Coach Didi talked about having a self-date, romancing yourself, feeding yourself with nutritious food. Yemi touched on avoiding triggers. Remove triggers. Remove yourself from triggering situations and don't be a trigger. Be authentic. And Coach Didi touched on that. Be authentic. What is your story? What is your narrative? Yemi talked about she being a masterpiece. On her own, she's a brand. She's a masterpiece creating several things. And we're all here on earth to create masterpieces. When we are not authentic, we will create a fake masterpiece. The founders of Wimbies created this platform 22 years after. Oh, I hope I'm right with the years, but 22 years after, look at how it continues to draw people from all over the world. Please, I would like us to give it up for Wimbies founders. Personally, I've been attending Wimbies because it's part of my self-care routine. I need to plug myself out of the medical world where we speak our, dysplasia, blah, 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 and just come and sit with other women who are ambitious. And I'm very excited that after 10 years, for the first time, my organization, Pearl Oncology, is able to sponsor Wimbies. Small, but we are going to be like First Bank in future. But we are only able to do this because of the seed and the oil that has been poured into every woman here. So please, Wimby's founders, we are grateful to you. Thank you for this legacy that you have created. Someone touched on creating a support system. That was Yemi. So for all of us that have executive assistants, in our teams, we know certain people will trigger us. So let's train our support system to keep the triggers away. Or remind us that don't react so badly. You can react, but not badly. You know, sometimes when we react, our heart starts to beat fast. We are hungry. Our hands are shaking. For the next 20 minutes, we can't calm down. But we also realize that 2 seconds before we got angry, we had a decision whether to get angry or not. So can we stay there some more and decide not to get angry? Sleep. It is free of charge. If you like, it's recommended that you have at least 7 hours of sleep as an adult. If you like to do 8, 9, it's up to you. Listen to your body. Don't snooze when your alarm system goes off. That was by pharmacist Josephine. Self-date, self-love, self-romance. Don't let people determine your happiness online, at work, and at home. You are the custodian of your own happiness. Drink a lot of water, 2 liters a day. Take a lot of fruits, exercise, keep your running shoes in the car by Dr. Yemi. Do what works for you, but make sure you move. And be in charge of your mindset. Ultimately, the decision comes from your headspace. If you curate good thoughts, a good community, you'll be in a better place. Thank you very much, my dearest panelists. And so we are open for questions.
My question is to Dr. Didi. I appreciate your experience.
I got an upgrade.
Okay. I appreciate your experience you have shared with us, and is to spoil ourselves a little and just chill. How do you then bond with your family when you want to maybe have some family interaction? Do you still take them out for that kind of chilling? And then, of course,
Chill.
do the same thing.
Chill.
Or do you go for recreation?
Yes,
so to say?
actually I do. But my name is not Dr. Didi and see all more doctors and all doctors there. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Coach Didi. Yes, I do take I love food. My love language is food. So I take my kids out a lot. But what I'm most intentional about, because I'm really busy most of the time. So I have scheduled Fridays as my family day. So every Friday evening, we don't eat semo and okra. On Fridays, we have a proper meal. We have a starter and main course, and sometimes dessert, depending on the pockets, really. When things are good, we have it really nice. And during that time, I make it important that I listen and actually look, because many times we don't even look at the people around us. Because ask yourself, when was the last time you looked at the people in your life and asked in the eye and asked them, how are you doing?
Thank
We
you.
just say, how are you doing? Our pass, you know? So on those Fridays, I ask each of my children, I call their name first, and I maintain eye contact and ask them, how has your week been? And they go like, oh, I went there, da, 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 da. I move to the next person, and then eventually they now ask me, that's my favorite part, how has your week been? And you can see I'm a talker, and I'll go, oh my God, I this, da, 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 da. And they go, it's okay, Didi, it's okay, can we eat? So on
you.
Fridays is the days I do that, honestly.
Okay, I have another question for the pharmacists. You know, research shows that when it comes to intake of drugs, because one of the panelists talked about sleep, good at it. Well, when some women can't find sleep, they tend to abuse some of these drugs. Maybe you need to share 1 or 2 experiences with us on how we can also cope with that. Sorry. My final question. The issue of technology. Somebody talked about technology. How do you counsel that even now on the dining table, instead of families to bond, it is the phone they are engaged with?
Yes.
So that we are
Thank
on
you very
dining
much,
table.
ma'am. So pharmacist
thank
Josephine
you.
will take the last two questions, but let's take all our questions so that everyone has a chance, and all the panelists will respond after.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So for sleep,
Farmer Josephine, so sorry. Please, let's take all the questions so they can.
Okay. Thank you for the very engaging panel. My question is around how to put into place boundaries regarding your self-care practices in the workplace. So I think a lot of us are in very high demanding jobs or industries, but we also want to still take care of our mental health, our self-care practices. But sometimes our employers or our industries just demand a bit more from us. So how do you instill those boundaries with the people that are demanding more?
Okay. Do you want any of the panelists to respond? Anyone?
Yeah.
Dr. Yemi will take that. Thank you.
Thank you, Winbies. I'm excited to be here. So my question, I need clarification on this HPV vaccine. I have daughters in secondary school. I heard of the vaccination and I just enrolled them. Please vaccinate. I have daughters in secondary school, and the school had suggested we give them this vaccination. But then a debate came up later on, and there's some controversies like virgins don't need that, it's for sexually active people, etc. So I'm a little confused. In fact, I'm very confused.
Don't worry. I'll answer that. Thank you so much.
Good morning. My name is Kemi Ojenike.
Okay. All right, please go on.
Okay, so here's my question. We've heard these very helpful tips on things like sleep, water, but how do you navigate situations when it's actually practically difficult for you to do these things? For instance, you have a newborn that needs to be attended to at night. You also need to negotiate working and stress. So you can't really sleep. You would like to exercise, but you honestly do not have the time. So what are the things that we can practically do to take care of ourselves, even in the midst of serious stress?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Onyeka will take that.
Okay. Hi, good morning. Okay, so my question is so I'm newlywed, and I know my husband loves me. So, but when you bring up self-care, so for me, self-care is like going to an hotel by myself, relaxing, having a good time. It feels, how do you deal with when they feel threatened, like, okay, oh, why do you want to go and have the time by yourself in the hotel? Don't worry, I'll just pay for both of us to go. If I want to go for a personal
Excellent question.
You're like, let's get together. Yeah.
Excellent question. Thank you. Back to the
Coach
panel.
Didi will take it. We have two over here. And one of our veterans.
Good morning. Sorry, this is not exactly a question. It's more like a plug. First of all, I wish that this plenary had taken place years back before an incident that happened with me here. I have a pet peeve, which is more like, I don't like being interrupted when I'm talking, and it happened that day, and I sort of lost it. Somebody said there that, you have to wait a few seconds more before you react. I didn't. And that incident, I learned a lot from it, because I didn't even realize what I had done until somebody came out and apologized on my behalf about my outburst and all of that. And it's been on my mind since. We're talking 2019 here. And first of all, before any other thing, I would first of all like to sincerely apologize to Winbiz for that outburst. I know some might remember, some might not. I'm really sorry about that. But I assure you, that was the last time that sort of thing happened.
Thank you.
Because it made me rethink, and it made me go into myself again and, learn how to control my actions. And this is exactly what you have explained here once again today. So I'm grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you very
so much to our veteran actress, Wumi
Please
Obi.
go straight to your question.
Okay. My
10
question
seconds.
is, has pain, stress, pressure, got anything to do with the female organs, especially when it comes to cancer. I had something with a lady yesterday who said each time she has the triggers, she feels pains in her boobs, and then it goes through her spine to the waist and her hips.
Good question, thank you. 2 more questions and we're done. Straight to your question,
Good morning,
please.
everyone. My question is, you mentioned something about drinking water. I want to know, how do you cultivate the habit of drinking water? I know it's normal. I know most people say it's easy, but for me, I most times don't like drinking water. So I want to know, how
do you cultivate the habit of drinking water? Thank you. Last question.
Good morning. Mine has to do with...
one house, please, one house.
What advice can you give to people who are normally afraid to do routine checks because of the fear that it's better not to know, that knowing will hurt you?
What advice do you give to people who are normally afraid to do routine checks because of fear of one thing or the other? Thank you so much. Back to you, panel.
Should we just go real quick?
Yes.
All right, we'll just go quick, fire speed. I'm going to address the question of the new mom who's trying to cultivate a new habit for herself. First of all, I'll say be gracious to yourself. That's a very different season for you. If you're not able to keep up with forming a new routine, please be gracious. Don't be too hard on yourself to avoid any type of post-traumatic stress from delivery and stuff like that. So do what you can. Get your sleep in when your baby is sleeping. And if you have to go right back to work, try to figure out a way around it to get your water, get your nutrients. And I would say plan ahead of time as much as you're able to manage. But most importantly, take all the help you can get. If you can get it, don't try to do it all by yourself, especially if this is your firstborn. And then for the other, what's the second question I'm supposed to take? I guess for the lady who's worried about water, how to form the habit of drinking water. Yes, you can start little by little. I tell my clients, we have these 0.liter bottles, these little bottles of water. Start from there. Take a glass of water when you wake up. And then by breakfast, take another glass of water with your breakfast. And you just kind of pace it out that way. Before you know it, you're drinking water throughout the day. Just start little and then build it up from there. Thank you.
Okay. So I will talk on the sleep. The lady spoke about sleep. A lot of people tend to abuse medications when it comes to sleep. The first thing you want to do when you're having problems sleeping is to practice what is called sleep hygiene. There are some habits that make it difficult for you to sleep. Sleeping in a room that is very bright can prevent you from sleeping. Some people sleep with their gadgets. They hold their gadgets, waiting, hoping that they will fall asleep and the gadget will slip off their hands. No. There's this thing, is it blue light that comes from the screen? It keeps you awake. So you want to take out your gadgets, and there's a place for seeking help. Don't go to Google. Google won't help us. A lot of people use Google. Then you want to stop, at least if you are very sensitive to caffeine, from 3 p.m., don't take coffee. For some people, 1 cup, I see somebody frowning there, I'm sorry. From some people, if they take coffee by 1 p.m., they can't sleep. So you want to stay off coffee.
Thank you.
Somebody talked about...
30 seconds.
Okay. Tech. How do you set boundaries on tech? So I would just say boundaries, that's the word, basically. In my family, because when you have this Gen Z, my daughter is there, I'm sorry, you have to tell them, please put your phones down. So you make it a law. Like she said, it's a non-negotiable. We have to be intentional with some of these things. Tech is taking all our time, and we are not connecting face to face. So let's set boundaries. Thank you.
Thank you. Yemi?
Thank you very much for the question. A young lady asked a question about working in the executive space and the pressures that come with it. The answer for that is for me to go off to look after myself. It has to do with having a good supportive team. You can't do everything by yourself, and it's intentionally building that team. If you're lucky, you have majority of those that you've had on your team retained with the jackpot, but that's is what has worked for me. I think I've had some good luck with that I'm able to go away because the culture of the team and the transparency and communication we have, there's no ambiguity in terms of our mission and objective, and I'm able to take time away sometimes to regroup while things are still going on. So that's what I would say for that. I don't allow it to affect me looking after myself. And quickly to go back to that, in 2018, I had a medical emergency that had me away for 6 months. And it was because of the kind of culture and the synergy that we had in the team. We had no drop in our profits and everything went along the way it should because of the kind of culture we built as a team. So that's what I would say for that.
Last question about the one whose ultimate self-care is to check into a hotel. I've been married 22 years. That's my ultimate self-care. Please, when you find out how to do it, let me know.
So, quickly, just to touch on HPV, currently the federal government of Nigeria has rolled out free HPV vaccination for young girls from the age of 9. It's very, very important that girls get vaccinated. Cervical cancer is caused by human papillomavirus, that 80% of the time, if you've engaged in sex once or twice, you have gotten the virus. But most times, the immune system is able to delete it. For a few women, the virus will stay on the cervix for 20, 30 years, causing a rash. And that's why we recommend people do their pap smear. For primary prevention, cervical cancer is one of the cancers that is completely preventable. No woman should have it. So we are looking forward to a generation free from cervical cancer if our young girls who are virgins, who are not exposed to the virus, get the vaccination. The people who are creating the crazy debate around the vaccination does not benefit virgins, it's a lie. It means a virgin has not gotten the virus yet, and the potency of the vaccine is almost 99%. If you have engaged in sex or you've had children, you will still benefit from it, but not as high as 99%. For people who are scared of annual medical checkups, make up your mind. Go and see your doctor. Don't be scared. Most times, 95% of times when we screen, it is normal. Thank you so much.
I believe.
Thank you very, very much for that robust conversation.
I see that was in rapt attention, and we celebrate you for sharing your wisdom and experience with us. Well-being is a very popular and favorite subject for many people, and I think you've done justice to this panel. Thank you. Please step forward for your group photograph as we invite Dr. Celestina Eke, MNI, Member Board of Trustees with this, to please come up for this group photograph with this panel. She will be supported by the Chair 2023 Reform Committee.